Hi guys, I'm Laura Vitale, and on this episode of Laura in the Kitchen, I want to show you how to make a really easy and simple, what I call an Italian chicken ragu. It's just really lovely, and it's a mixture of salty and briny and woodsy, and it's just easy and delicious, and I think you're going to really, really love it. It's perfect for this time of year because it's sort of comforting, and you can serve it over top of rice, pasta, polenta, mashed potatoes, cauliflower rice, whatever floats your boat. But I'm thrilled to share it with you because it doesn't require a lot of ingredients, but they're all the right ones. Let me run you through them. I've got some boneless, skinless chicken thighs. I like a little bit of fat left on them just for flavor. I've got what I have here is a handful of pitted Kalamata olives and some capers that I have rinsed. Whether they're salt packed or in vinegar or in brine, you just want to make sure you rinse them. I've got an onion, garlic, fresh bay leaves, fresh rosemary, a few Roma tomatoes, salt, olive oil, a little bit of water, and you're going to need a little bit of balsamic at the very end. So fantastic, you're going to love it. I'm going to make mine in my old big cast iron skillet that I love so much. It's like a member of the family. There's Laura, Joe, Mia, good old cast iron. You always need a few good cast iron skillets. I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil to it, not a lot. If your cast iron is well seasoned, it won't stick. So season top of the chicken, and when I add it in, I'll season the other side. You just want to make sure that your pan is nice and hot. Now you can use bone-in, skin-on, like drumsticks and thighs. I wouldn't use breast here just because I don't like to use breast in any stew or soup. You could use breast, or you could use bone-in, whatever you want. I like boneless, skinless. It cooks a lot faster. I get a lot more meat, a lot more bang for your buck because I'm not paying for the bone. All right, so now what I'm gonna do, while that cooks on both sides, you just want good color on both sides, I'm going to thinly slice my onion, and I'm going to roughly chop my tomatoes. Now the tomatoes were right at the end of summer, so I can still find really good tomatoes, but you know what's really great about this is that even if you make this stew in the dead of winter, you can use canned tomatoes, or you can use whatever tomatoes you can get your hands on because you're cooking them down and they're going to get all soft and jammy anyway, so it doesn't really matter that much. So very versatile. I'm going to get on with this and then I'll show you the next step. Chicken looks good. I'm just going to push the chicken to the one side of the pan because just as you know, this is easy home cooking. I don't want to get a bunch of plates out. Add the onions in. This is the great thing about stews and soups or anything like that, is that there's just really no pressure for any of it to look perfect. You don't really care about that. You want a just really delicious dish that your whole family is going to love, but most importantly, it's got to be easy on the cook. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to add the chicken right back on top of the onions. Wiggle things around. I also added my bay leaves and my rosemary. I love the combo of rosemary and bay leaves, especially in the fall and winter. It gives anything that really lovely woodsy flavor. I'm just obsessed with it. Add your garlic around there, and now what you're going to do is you're just going to slowly cook this 5-7 minutes. You're not looking for them to be beautiful, dark, caramelized, and perfect. You're just looking for the onions to wilt down a bit, develop a little bit of color, and then we'll go on with the remaining ingredients, and it's lovely, and you're gonna love it. That is beautiful and perfect, exactly what I want. So, now things get really difficult. Dump it all in. Add your tomatoes, the olives and the capers. This is great against that woodiness from the herbs, from the rosemary, but it also just, sometimes when it comes to food, right, especially when it comes to a stew or anything like that, I feel like it can be quite one-dimensional, and what I mean by that is it could be quite, you know, rich, not much else going on. Splash of water, by the way. The olives and the capers just add a note of really lovely, intense saltiness and brine, which goes so fantastic with those caramelized onions. And like I said, the woodiness from the herbs. It's just fabulous. I'm going to cover this. I'm going to use aluminum foil because I don't have a lid for this pan. I'm going to cover this, and I'm going to let this slow cook for maybe 45 minutes or so, and I will show you what it looks like when it's there. But I'm just saying, is this not gorgeous? I mean, I get really happy over such weird things, and this, the look of this makes me happy. So I'm just gonna let it do its thing and move your pan around once in a while, because you know, one side of the pan, at least on my stove anyway, tends to get a lot hotter than the back side. So just move your pan around every now and then, just to make sure you're even cooking. Look how gorgeous that looks. It's been cooking, it was covered. It's been cooking for about 40 minutes. Look at this. You're seeing this? The meat is just like falling off. I would say it's falling off the bone, but there is no bone. If you feel like it's drying up too much, then just keep adding a little bit of water or a little bit of stock. You don't really need to, I just add water. I use a total of about 3/4 of a cup of water throughout the cooking process, because it just evaporates. Because I want to keep it really stewy like, you know? Now you've got options, because the world is full of them. First of all, I'm going to hit it with a little bit of balsamic. This is not the place for cheap acidic balsamic vinegar. You want something sweet, something a little bit thicker, because you want to add that sticky sweetness to this, and it's just absolutely magical. Let that bubble away all together. You can serve this, as I mentioned earlier. Man, that smells good. You can serve this with a lot of different things, polenta being my favorite, or number 2, I would just serve this with a beautiful mixed green salad and chunks of bread to soak up the goodness that's going around this chicken. That's it. You don't need to even cook a side. I mean, it's just incredible. The chicken falls apart. I'm gonna give this a bite, even though I'm gonna serve this for dinner, but I'm gonna give this a bite because this piece is just screaming for it. I already tasted it for seasoning, so I know it's good. It's so light and it's so bright, but yet it's deep from the herbs, it's deep from it cooking for a while, and the sweetness of the onions. I'm telling you, it is perfection. And I'm gonna sprinkle this with parsley, put some hunks of bread around it, take a picture so you can see what it looks like that way. The recipe is on LauraInTheKitchen.com. I hope that you make this weekend or even weeknight. I hope you enjoy spending time with me. And since nobody else is coming over for dinner right this minute, I'm gonna grab myself another piece of chicken. Bye.